Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's Season 1, Episode 5, and if you don't know why we're currently unemployed, you need to make sure you go and check out yesterday's before we go any further. Otherwise, you're going to have some more huge spoilers, although this one's probably the biggest of them, I'll concede that. But the reason we're back here today on the 12th of December, in an otherwise unimportant day on the football calendar, I believe, is because we've got a job offer, and it's a little bit more familiar than we might expect. So let's go and have a look at it. It looks like we're going back to one of our favourite leagues from the FM18 head coach story. We've been offered a job after a month and a half by Dungannon Swifts. The only other job offer we received was from Wales, the Welsh Premier League. It was Llandudno who offered the job, but they were 13 points off the top half and wanted to finish in the Europa League places as a minimum achievement. So we won't be taking that on for our reputation. But these guys have been much more sensible. They've offered us a job to the end of the season. They've let us know that if we get relegated, we won't be able to stay at the club. It's a slight increase in pay as well, which is always a good thing, and we'll need that if we're going abroad. But for those of you who were following last year, you'll know that at Coleraine I had an absolutely brilliant time. It's where the head coach really took off in FM18. So let's go and have a look at where they are at the moment. They're 11th in the Danske Bank Premiership, second bottom. There's a couple of slightly familiar names there. If we look at the league table just to see the mess we're in, we're definitely not going to finish bottom, which is good. So we shouldn't be getting relegated if we can win the playoffs. But in that bottom half, there's plenty of teams with a big points gap to us. So that's 6th and 7th place. In 6th, it's Coleraine, who we were with in FM18. And then Ballymena United, their local rivals, in 7th. I think we're expected to get a mid-table finish, so I'm not too worried about that. That's just 8th or 9th, which we should be able to do fairly comfortably. I don't know what the situation is with the Cups, but we might be able to go on a run. Let's see if they're still in any. They've lost in the Mid-Ulster Cup first round. I'm not sure what that is now, because that's not either the Irish Cup or the Bet McLean Cup, so that must be something new. Let me go and have a look at that. It looks like it might just be a regional thing. There's only a few teams in there, so if we're here next year, why not go for that one? Unfortunately, they're out the Bet McLean Cup already. They lost to lower league opposition, and they're also in the position in the Irish Cup where they've got lower league opposition in their first game there. So we'll try not to slip up in that one. We've got a couple of awful games coming up when we join. Crusaders and Coleraine away, and then Glenavon at home, with one of them live on TV. But if we have a look at that run they're on, bar the Newry game, against a team who are marooned at the bottom, they haven't won more than one game in 4 months, which is a bit of a concern for us. So plenty of work to be done, but we can't do it by sitting here, so let's get that job offer accepted and we'll go and meet the squad. We'll try and eke a bit more money out of them. We're going to try and be ambitious up to 400. I'd expected them to say no there, so we'll go for 375. And I'll tell you what, that's a lovely little pay rise for getting sacked, so we're quite happy with that. A 7-month job offer, and it could really increase our reputation. So we'll be back in a second to meet the squad. Okay, we've joined Dungannon, we've been given a chance to resurrect our career, and we've been given a chance to resurrect their season as well. We'll go through these messages quickly. It's obviously telling us we've taken a hot seat there, and quite nicely told us that we struggled at Hemel Hempstead. We'll do all the meetings in a minute, so let's skip. Are there any transfer obligations? 1 player in on loan and 2 future transfers. So they're ones we're going to look at in a moment. They're from the Anna United, and that's the team that beat them in the Bet McLean Cup. Let's just see if there's anything special there, or are they just youngsters for the under-20s team? I think they are, so we won't get too excited about those ones. And we've obviously got a loanee from Linfield, a goalkeeper who's 2-star ability, so hopefully he's not first choice. Ongoing negotiations, nothing going on at the moment. Unhappy players, how many are there going to be? Just the 2 who want first team football, and they've both got high potential, so I'll try and speak to them in a minute too. We've also got to worry about a social fee, which I'll do off camera, and I'll pick the captain in a minute once I've had a look at the squad. So season 1's turning into quite an interesting one. We're meeting our second team of the year, and then we'll come back in the next episode to play our first game at the club. So let's put them in selection info order. We don't want to look at their contracts just yet. We've got a decent sized squad, so if we get it on reports so we can see what the coaches that are currently here think of them. And that keeper is the best at the club, so that's a concern. The only other option is a 39-year-old Stuart Addis. He's not too bad, to be honest, but an experience would say to play him, but I'm not sure at the moment if that's the right thing to do. He has been here for a few years and it looks like he's largely been a backup, so that's something that might be a concern moving forward. And I've just noticed at the top he's also a goalkeeping coach here too. Obviously we've met Alex Moore already. At the back there's a player out on loan there. We've got a couple of very good centre-halves. Chris Hegarty's on £250 a week, 4-star ability, 4.5 potential. He was actually at Rangers as a youngster, played 25 games. I think that's when they were coming up the leagues because I played as them a couple of times and know that he was there then. He's also played for Linfield before coming here and being a stalwart for 3 years. He looks relatively good, to be honest. Not great aerial ability and fairly poor mentally. He's not got composure or concentration. But he's strong, he's good mentally apart from that. He's determined, he's a good leader, and he looks like the sort of person who could be a captain here, to be honest. So we're more than happy with that start. The other well-rated centre-half is Jake Dykes. He's also 3.5-star ability with 5-star potential, and he's a left-footer which complements Hegarty well. He's not very quick or strong. He's not got the centre-half physical attributes. Is he short as well? No, he's 6'1". I'm not sure why he's so weak. But he is very good technically. He's even a good passer of the ball. So we've got a ball-playing defender, which is something I didn't expect to see. And he's fairly good mentally as well, bar concentration again. So not a bad partnership to start with. I'm sure it's not the second worst in the league. There's also a third centre-half here at 31, David Armstrong. He's not very good at all. 2.5-star ability. And that basically sets a benchmark for us. Anyone that's 2.5-star or worse is not going to be good enough to play for us. I was thinking before I looked at him in more detail that we might be able to play a back three, but that's impossible there. And he's another left footer as well. The only fullbacks we've got a 2.5-star as well. At left back we've got Jarlath O'Rourke. He's got 5-star potential, so he's going to be a good player for us. But it's just whether we can play him in this situation. And I guess I don't have a choice because the January transfer window isn't open yet. I don't know if there's a director of football in place at the club, and I don't know if there's any budget. So it could be that we have to put up with him for the season anyway. Not very good crossing the ball, so it looks like we're not going to have much support in attack there. But he is quick, which is always vital at this sort of level. And on the right, we're even worse. It's a 2-star player. Chris Lowe, again, high potential, 4-star. He can play in the holding role, centre midfield and the right wing as well. And let's be honest, he's not very good. So we'll hope our director of football finds a replacement for him in January, or we're going to be in a bit of trouble at fullback. Moving on to midfield, we've got Klukas, another star player. 4-star ability, 4.5-star potential, even at 26. He looks very good. A proper ball-winning midfielder, and I have no doubt he'll be getting yellow cards galore this season. Especially with the way I play the game. But he's absolutely brilliant. He works hard and he's got a good engine and he's very determined. Nothing wrong with that, but we will be working very quickly to get rid of that dives into tackles. Anyone else that's good in central midfield? Dougie Wilson's got high potential at 2.5-star. He's got 4.5-star potential, but he's not very good. His stamina's not great. He's got some good attributes, but not enough to be a rounded central midfielder. The other ones we've got in there is a 3-star Ryan Harper. I think I saw him on the captain screen as one that had been mentioned. A ball-winning midfielder that can't tackle or mark, which is very interesting to say the least. But he is someone who could do a job in the squad and will probably be the backup to Klukas. The only other central midfielders are the transfer listed Grant Hutchison and this guy Corey McMullen at 22. Again, high potential but not much ability. But he's a little bit better in terms of a shape of a midfielder. So a central midfielder on attack which could work for us. So we might give him a go as we don't seem to have many other options. Moving on to the wings, what have we got? We've got a very good looking 19-year-old midfielder. Reece Campbell, 3.5-star ability, 5-star potential. He's quick and he can cross, which covers all the basics for us, and he works fairly hard too. So he may well be a very good signing for us, and he's got a couple of goals in 12 league appearances too. So one to look out for over the next year or so at Dungannon. And on the left-hand side, we've got a couple of real star players. Alan Teggart's a 32-year-old with 4-star ability. He's just starting to decline physically, but he is absolutely brilliant. And he's got a high natural fitness and determination. So he should train well and keep his attributes for a long time. He's going to be an absolutely key man for us. And he's a specialist corner taker, so we'll work on set pieces. The other left midfielder's Paul McElroy. He's a 3.5-star player with 4.5-star potential. And he can cover at left back and up front as well. But he can't finish or tackle, so I'm not sure how that'll work out. And unfortunately, it looks like two of the best players at the club are both left midfielders and we're not going to be able to get the most out of them. But another good option, and we may have to sell one of them to try and raise funds, and the younger one's likely to be the sacrifice. But he has played over 90 games for the club and scored at 1 in 10, so hopefully he'll be useful for us for the next few weeks, if nothing else. And then the most important bit, who have we got up front? We've got the best player at the club, 4.5-star ability, 5-star potential, Daniel Hughes. Great first name, by the way. He's an attacking midfielder and a striker, so he could play a number 10 if we wanted to. He's quite comfortable there as well. Not the best finisher, but he's very good mentally. He's very quick, and he's going to be someone that's going to be a star for us. I'm going to make sure that we get goals out of him. I doubt we'll play him as a false 9. We'll probably play him in a more advanced role, just because he's not so good technically, and we need to take advantage of having pace. So I'm hoping he'll get us through to January. Are there any other good ones up there? One other 3.5-star ability, Mark McAllister. He's another deep line forward and he's more of a playmaker. He can pass the ball, he's got good vision and he can't work hard and he's got no pace. So he's the one we're going to use in the deep line role. He's not got any more potential as he's 30 years of age, but he should get us through the next few weeks at the very least. The one other one that was there, we've got a 3-star ability striker in Johnny Lafferty. Very good target man. He's big and strong in the air, and he might be a useful outlet in the last 20 minutes if we're behind, just to get him in the box and try and pump balls in there. We might even play with a front three yet, looking at what we've got. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I never really played with the front three, and I had a good old whinge about it in FM18. So we'll wait and see what I do with that. It's not something I'm very good at, but it looks like that's what the team's set up for. And as I've mentioned many times, the beauty of the head coach series is that at every club you come into, you've got to work a completely different way. But this squad is a little bit more tuned to the way I work, so that's not a problem at all. There's also a couple of very decent looking prospects in the under-20s and under-18s, but it's not the time to risk them when we're struggling in a relegation battle. If we can get out of that and build a bit of confidence, then we might give them a go towards the end of the season. But for now, we just want to keep things safe until January, where hopefully we can get a director of football to do some work for us. So let's just go and check if we have got one at the club already. If not, we'll set up our responsibilities just now. There is one here, Joe Macquarie. Let's have a look at him. I tell you what, he's not terrible at this level. 7 for ability and 8 for potential. He's 73 years of age and he looks like he's an absolute legend here. Manager from 2001. He's had the role as director of football twice. He's been an assistant and he's been the chairman at the club. Now that's an interesting man. Hopefully he doesn't want to try and pick the team from us. But if he can get us some good players in, we'll have no complaints about him being here at all. Let's look and see at our assistant manager. He's the only other one we really need to worry about. He has very good judgment and he's young, so he's someone we're going to hope to work with for a long time. 12 for ability, 13 for potential, and at least I know his reports are fairly accurate then. He's not got much reputation at the moment, but that's not for us to worry about. We'll build our reputation together and become stalwarts of the Northern Irish game, just as we did with Coleraine in FM18. Last but not least, if we go to the finances just to look at the position we're in, the club's not in a great shape. It's got a couple of £100 in the wage budget, so hopefully our director of football will be able to bring in at least one player in January, and hopefully it'll be a fullback because we're absolutely useless there. The dynamics at the club are all fairly average across the board, but hopefully once we've had the chat with those new players who are unhappy, we should be able to build the dynamics relatively quickly. If we have a quick look at the schedule again, just to confirm what our first couple of games are, we've got Crusaders away, the champions in real life, on TV on Monday, so 5 days to get my feet in before we get that game underway. And the second game of the doubleheader in tomorrow's episode will be a return to Coleraine, the club we had so much success with in the FM18 story of the head coach. So I'm really looking forward to that one, and I'm quite happy to be back in Northern Ireland again, although it'll probably only be for 1 or 2 seasons in this version. But that is it for this episode. Let me know what you think of the new club. Do you think we'll actually be able to succeed at this one? I know we should be able to keep them up, but what do you think of the squad? How does it look? If you did like the video, please put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager content from this head coach series and our other FM19 story part of the furniture. A massive thanks for watching as always, and we'll see you next time.